Hi, and welcome to the latest episode of my question and answer series. In this weekly series, I choose a bunch of questions from my subscribers and attempt to answer them on camera. It's unscripted, unrehearsed, unedited, and completely unprofessional. If you have any questions, then just drop them in the comments below, and if you want a sneak peek of what I'll be answering this week, then just check out the description. But for now, let's get right into it. Hey, how you all doing? This isn't a fashion statement. It is currently 7.5 degrees in the shed. I'm in the middle of Scotland. It's approaching December, so the temperatures have dropped. So I need the warm clothes on for filming these. And you might notice from now on some of my videos, most of the footage of me speaking will be shot in the house. I'll still do the kind of demonstration shots in the shed, but I'm sure you don't want to hear me chittering through something. So needs must, I'm afraid. So please, if you've got any questions, if I've missed any on this video, fire them back in. If you've got any additional questions, then please stick them in the comments below or on any video. And they don't have to be on pool. I think most of them today are on pool, but ask me anything. I like answering it all. And the first one is actually one that I've attempted to answer a few times from Bryson Bam. I'm going to show this. He specifically mentioned this kind of pot that I made where I hit it in off the cushion first. So I didn't pot it clean, kind of put it in off the cushion like that. And he asked if that was a double. Because it's hit the cushion, would I consider that a double? And I would say, no. I think a double, although it hits a cushion, I think you're trying to get it into the opposite pocket. So, you know, if I was faced with a shot like that, I'm never going to make this shot, by the way. I'm terrible at doubles into the middle, into the corners, but it would be, you know, something like that. Oh, it was going in! Ah, damn you balls. Next question is from Michael Hawksworth, and it was because of this last video I said that I no longer believed in transfer spin. And it's actually caused a bit of a debate. You know, I've had a few comments on this now, which is great. I love this. Kyle McNally asked me the same question about transfer spin. So if I don't believe in transfer spin, then they specifically referenced this video where I said, you know, you could make a pot like this down the cushion easier by using transfer spin. So they said, if I don't believe in it, what is happening on that shot? So on that shot, I said it's easier to pot a ball down the cushion if you can get spin on the object ball. So I can probably hit about here on the cushion and still pot it if I can get spin on the object ball. So I said, you know, if you put spin on the cue ball, you can transfer it onto the object ball. Now, I did, on the video, I probably hit about here and managed to pot the ball in there. So they're asking, if I don't believe in it, what is actually happening when I'm putting the spin on it? Because I've demonstrated that it works. And I should say, I don't believe in it, kind of. I'm very on the fence. I always believed in transfer spin, and the sole reason that I don't is because of Michael Holt in a video that he put up where he did things in slow motion and it looked like no spin was being transferred onto the object ball. So that's the only reason. Still open to it. If somebody wants to prove that it does exist, then I'm completely happy with that. What I do think is happening is throw exists. So when you hit a ball with side, you don't, so to pot this ball, I would aim there if I was hitting it normally. If you play it with side, so if I play this with left hand side, I would probably try and hit maybe about there, because the left hand side is going to throw it away to the right. So like this. So I didn't hit the same contact point as if I was playing a plain ball. So what I think is happening on this is if I play this with side, it's throwing the object ball to a different direction. Now, let's put a little experiment here. Let's put a wee mark on the cushion. Now, if I place the ball here and hit that mark, as you know, I'm not going to pot it, right? And it would be the same if I moved the ball like that. If I put it here, probably still possibly pot it, almost. If I put it here and hit that point, I will pot it. Now obviously, the closer you are to the cushion initially, the further up you can hit it and still pot it. And I think that's what's happening on this shot. I think the throw is getting the ball closer to the cushion from an initial start point, and so you can hit further up it. So put the side on, it does throw the ball off its natural path, and because you do that, I think you can hit further up the cushion. So that's what I think is happening on that one. Deborah Moore asked me, do I offer personalised training? And the answer is yes. I've actually been asked about it a few times recently. I can do online stuff, so if it's possible, if you've got your own table or you can film yourself down a club, we can set up a video call and kind of chat through for an hour and work out various things that you need help with or anything at a spot. If you don't feel comfortable filming down your club and doing a live video, that's fine. If you can just film yourself for 10 minutes or so, I can work out a price for giving you a kind of detailed explanation of what I think you can improve on. Postboy 007 says he's having trouble gripping the cue too tight. Do I have any tips? And that's brilliant. It's a great observation to have, that you're gripping it tight. It's good that you know that you can't grip it tight. So specifically talking about the backhand, you shouldn't grip your cue like that. It's just going to mess up your technique. You're never going to be able to get that much action on the ball. It's all about, these three fingers are almost redundant. Hold your cue like that. Your grip is these two fingers. These are here just for a bit of balance. And when you stretch, when you're doing your backhand, these three fingers should actually open out. And it allows your wrist to move properly. So, if you hold your cue tight, you can't make the cue go backwards and forwards on a level field. It would go up and down if this wrist doesn't rotate. So to allow the wrist to rotate, you need to have these fingers loose. That way, your wrist moves. See, it's moving forward as I move the cue forward. It's moving back as I move it back. So that's the importance of trying to keep it loose. I think you just need to concentrate on it. You just need to recognise that it's these two fingers and that these should always be loose. I do have a tip. I wouldn't suggest it as a long-term thing, although a friend of mine does do this all the time and he's a great player. A little tip that you could do is you can actually hold your chalk. So if you hold your chalk in those three fingers, then you can't grip the cue tightly. It sounds like one of these daft little pieces of advice, but he does it. It doesn't affect his game. He's a great player. And as we all know, you can be loose all the time. But then once there's a little bit of pressure and things start tightening up, so you could just do it, if you're feeling a bit of pressure, stick your chalk in there and you can't possibly grip too tight. Ed Tamboni, hi Ed, I know that you've sent me a couple of questions recently, so welcome to the channel and thanks for contributing. He asked what my view is on backhand English, and it's not I think I have heard the term before but didn't really understand what it was, because in the UK we don't refer to English, we refer to side spin. I never really knew what backhand was, but we exchanged a few messages and we've got there. So what backhand English is say that you want to pot this ball with side. It sounds like, and sorry, correct me if I've not picked this up correctly, you would go down as if you're playing ball and line up, and then the backhand is that you get the spin with this hand. So if I wanted to put left spin on it, I would move my hand out to the right, and it changes the angle of my cue, so I'm striking left of the ball, and if I move it in, I would be striking right. Now, I think he says that it works for him. Would I recommend it? The short answer would be no. I'm a great believer with advice in cue sports that you know, there's some things that you just go, no, you shouldn't do. A lot of things you would probably advise against it, but if it's working for a player, then leave them be. And one example that I always talk about is Judd Trump, where it looks like he's cueing across the ball. So if you see him on the shot, he'll be lined up like that, and then at the last minute when he hits it, he comes across and hits it where he should. Now you would probably go, don't do that, but you know what, Judd Trump's one of the best snooker players of all time, and possibly, you know, got the most cue power of all time. So it works for him. So that's a good example of when you should kind of say, leave things alone. But for that, you would never suggest to somebody to cue across the ball. In fact, quite often when you see somebody miss a shot, you say it's because they've cued across it. So I wouldn't start out by cueing across it. I'm not aware of anyone else who does it on purpose. To be honest, I'm surprised that it works. I would say it's a little bit of luck that it works, because how much the cue ball is thrown off when you put side spin on it varies all the time. You know, it varies depending on your cue, the balls, the table, the temperature and everything like that. So although you're using the same cue all the time, if you go on a different table, it might throw off differently to you know, one that's slightly newer or in better condition. But also shot by shot. You know, if I played a soft with side, the cue ball didn't throw off much at all. If I hit it harder with side, you can see that it did throw off. So even varying the speed on the same conditions can change how much the ball throws off. Now, if you're lucky that you're going like this and then cueing across it and it works for you, and it worked kind of for me there, then it might differ if you change the speed of your shot. But I'm just going to show you something. If I just grab another cue, so that worked with that cue. So live experiment here. This is my old snooker cue. So I'll do the exact same again. Now, I never use this cue anymore. I've not used it in about 15 years, so I've no idea how this is going to react. So I'm lined up to it, cued across it. I potted it last time, the cue ball went to the left. I did it there, but you can see that I potted it in a different part of the pocket. So the cue ball moved more to the right with that shot. So I wouldn't advise it. If it works for you, stick with it. You know, what harm is it really going to do? I would try and get to a point where you're not playing it that way, that you can just get down the shot and play with side. Johnny G asked me, and this was on my video about where to aim with side. He says, what about using an expensive cue ball with a cheap set of object balls? And the answer is it wouldn't really affect much at all in terms of how you aim. You kind of need to learn it. You know, different cue balls will react differently. So, you know, this Pro Cup Aramith, you know, it's one of the more expensive sets of balls. If I then put another cue ball next to it and played with that, it might throw off differently. So you just need to learn it. If you're considering, because quite a lot of people do this, you know, I think Pro Cups are about £120. So some people consider just buying the cue ball, which I think you can get for about £12 or £13, and just using their existing set of balls. If you're considering that, then go for it. It does make a difference to the overall feel and overall play. You'll get good reaction off this ball more than you will. Kind of cheaper ones tend to be a bit heavier. So you need to learn where to aim, but in terms of your overall enjoyment of the game, I would say, yeah, plump for a more expensive one. Barry Hind asked me a great question. I did a video on the ghost ball. If you've not seen it, check it out. So I talked about a couple of issues with the ghost ball, and one of them is, you know, if you're playing with side, you're obviously not aiming at the ghost ball anymore, so what's the point in it? But he said, so if he doesn't play with side, is the ghost ball consistent? And the answer is kind of, I would say no, but it depends. You know, if you've got a shot like this and you aim for the ghost ball, and you're going to pot it. But if you've got a shot like this, let's say here, and you're trying to pot that ball in there, if you aim for the ghost ball, you're not going to pot it. You'll hit that too thick. And the reason being is because of cut and juice throw. So when you're playing shots like that, so let's say if you're behind the shot there, you would aim for here. If you're here, you don't aim for that same point, because the ball will end up hitting there. Because of the friction between the balls, you know, as it goes into contact with it, they're in contact for, you know, tiny milliseconds, but it's enough to kind of push the ball off its natural path. So you actually need to aim thinner. So I don't advise the ghost ball. It'll work for your kind of thicker, easier shots, but once you're into kind of thinner things, I don't think it works. Similar question, Dodgy Guitarist said, will I notice a difference with Pro Cups? So Pro Cup Aramith balls versus just normal Aramith balls. It depends what kind of level you're at. A lot of people don't see any difference in anything. You know, I think I play with Pro Cups all the time. So I do notice a difference if I then go into a pub and it doesn't have them. You can feel the difference. You know, the table feels heavy with anything else. So you do feel a difference, but you can quickly adapt it. You just know, I mean, the difference is almost how hard you need to play things. So you just don't feel like you get the same action all around the table. So you might need to hit something harder with a cushion. You might need to hit it harder with a bit of screw back. So you do adapt, and you probably will feel a difference between Pro Cups and a cheaper set. Normal Aramiths in a Pro Cup, I would say it's negligible. You know, depending on your level, you might notice something, but not drastically. And he actually asked my thoughts on Britannia cues, which is a good one as well. I quite like Britannia cues. I mean, I've never really specifically owned one. My sponsor on my other channel sent me one to do a review, and it was a good cue. You know, they look nice, and they're a very good price. You know, they're a good price for somebody who's kind of getting up the levels of pool and wants to take their game to the next level. They look good, and I feel like they specifically make UK pool cues, because I find it quite hard. You know, snooker is still in this country, snooker is still the bigger sport in terms of, you know, reach all around the world and exposure, but probably at a grassroots level, UK pool is bigger. You know, you get competitions all around the country all the time with hundreds of players playing in them, but it tends to be that people are getting their cues, you know, made for them, which is quite hard to do these days. So to actually just pick something up off the shelf, I don't think there's a lot of options. Britannia are good at it. I feel like they make cues, you know, thin enough to play UK pool with. I gave that cue away just because, you know, I've got my own cue and this is all I'm going to use. But it was a good cue, and I think you know, you can pick up a good cue between £100 and £200. So they are good. I do like Britannia cues. The last question, JW977 asked, any advice on my back elbow? Mine goes away from my body. So there'll be potentially a couple of points in this. I've noticed mine doing the same. I've not specifically noticed it on video, and this is a strange thing that, you know, once I started doing this channel, watching myself back, I notice all the little bad things that I do. I can't see this on video, but I can feel it. On my very last backswing, sometimes, and not every time, I feel my elbow kind of going out a bit. And I mentioned this to Michael Holt, and he said, if it doesn't affect your shot, then try and forget about it. Easier said than done. Once you know something's there, it's hard to forget about. But that was, you know, that's advice that I'm sticking to just now. What I do notice on my videos is sometimes I cue across the ball to the left. So it might be that my elbow going out is making me do that. Now, if I start doing it more often, then I will try and correct it. But at the moment, you know, it's once in a blue moon, so I'm going to leave it be. So I would suggest the same for you. But if it's something like this, I'll see if you can pick this up on camera. And this is quite a cool little thing to do. Put the ball in the middle of the table and try 3 different shots. So one with your elbow in a normal upright straight position and hit the ball hard straight up and down the table and see where it comes back to. It should hit your cue. Now if you some people play with their elbow kind of sticking out that way. Now if you do that and try and hit the ball hard, then the way that you're lined up, you should cue across the ball to the right. So you're putting right hand spin on it. So the ball should come flying down there. Now if you've got an innie elbow, so like that, and you try and hit it hard, you'll do the opposite. You'll put left hand spin on it. I saw Steve Davis do that, and it was pretty cool. So it was a good reason to try and get that elbow straight. It shows you that just by being a little bit off, you know, either in or out, you could impart spin on the ball that you don't want to. So that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments.